Okay, I hope you're ready. Maybe you got a cup of coffee, you're very alert, and you got a good memory. Let's first take a look right here. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this symbol in Freemasonry, and that's what we're looking at right here. Some of you might remember this as I broke it down in As Above, So Too Below, and I think we used it in Illuminati Left Eye. Highly relative videos, highly relative. But what's relative right now at this point, of course, is observing we have the same two columns once again on either side of each other. Remember the story of Samson, that he is put between these two columns. And then of course he pushes these columns down and then destroys the Philistines. Just think about that for a moment, but that's going to tie back up big time. Now, this is what's of importance right now, because I want to explain this riddle to you. Before we get to the riddle, you have to know this part. So know this. This is a Freemasonic symbol. And of course, the beehive, the honey. Okay? Now, let's take a look at what we see here. And we are going to see at chapter 14, verse 8. Let's go ahead and read it again. And after a time, he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hands, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he told not them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. Okay, now remember, we've been talking about a kingdom age, all right? That millennial, 1,000-year reign that supposedly the saints are supposed to rule on earth. Well, if you read Revelation properly, you realize that we go to heaven, that we're judged, and we go to heaven, and we ascend unto the Father. There's no 1,000-year earth reign for those who are going to be taken up and then brought back down. It doesn't happen that way. The 1,000-year millennial reign is as we've said it is. It is for false Israel. It is for all of the different animals, from the great owl to the raven to the cormorant to the bittern to the vulture. All of these symbolic, occult-minded organizations, from the academic societies to the politicians of the world, are the kings of the earth, if we would call them that. It's the millennial reign is for them, okay? And we're seeing that. Now, what is that term? Now, you're seeing it termed a kingdom age, okay? But what is it being termed in the new age? It's called a golden age. That's exactly right. Now, the golden age, if you understand the legends, is supposed to be brought by somebody. Well, if you remember, in some of my earlier work, we talked about the Vril Society that was, I guess in a sense, worshiping these people that they believed were under the earth. And then, of course, the name of the energy that they worshiped was the Vril, and they believed that it permeated everything. Well, of course, these people were prophesized to come up and then, of course, restore some sort of order back to the world. Well, if you remember the Admiral Byrd story, if you check that out, you'll remember that Admiral Byrd, sometime later in history, had run upon something that seemed to be these very same people. Now we have the connection with the Bible that puts all this in perspective. Now what I want to turn your attention to is this, that notice that the lion has been killed, which is going to be the representation of Jesus Christ. The gospel of Jesus Christ is the lion, and then once they kill the lion, then that's when we have the honey, which is representative of this golden age, and then everybody's going to be like-minded, a swarm of bees.